A very warm welcome to this presentation on the Center for Cognitive Art in Bregaglia Valley, Switzerland, Cultural Heritage Redefined. Giovanni Segantini was stateless, however, he spent his last years before his untimely death in Bregaglia Valley, southern Switzerland, where his descendants still reside. Here you see all three parts of the original Alpine triptych by Giovanni Segantini. They are called La Vita, beginning, La Natura, being, and La Morte, gone. These are monumental oil paintings, beautifully displayed in St. Moritz, world-famous birthplace of winter tourism. St. Moritz does not belong to Bregaglia Valley, but why is this important? And with this being said, one of the main reasons for the here presented project is revealed. The Bregaglia Valley does not own or display any paintings by Giovanni Segantini nor sculptures by Alberto Giacometti. The intangible heritage is still alive, but without the tangible artifacts, it is significantly less palpable as well as marketable. This is a map of Switzerland, and as you can see, Bregaglia Valley is located closely to the Italian border. Therefore, Italian is the main language, followed by the local dialect called Bargaiot, as well as Swiss German. Even though it is renowned as the Valley of Art, many locals do not identify themselves with their rich artistic heritage. Therefore, it is vital to create opportunities for residents and guests alike to familiarize themselves with said heritage to make sure the rich history does not get forgotten. Also, from a regional development viewpoint, the lack of a unified cultural identity is problematic for this peripheral valley since it has a negative effect on tourism too. The marketing is targeted to advertise Bregaglia as the Valley of Art, but at the same time it is not perceptible throughout the population. This could lead to misguided cultural codes that have a negative effect overall, particularly on aspects regarding authenticity and the like. Bregaglia is a peripheral valley in southern Switzerland located in the canton of Grisons. The area is recognized as the birthplace of the famous Giacometti art dynasty. In combination with the linkage to the Segantinis, it is quite remarkable for such a rural area to produce as well as attract so many world-famous artists. However, the cultural heritage irrevocably linked to this wild romantic area has strong roots within the arts, but at the same time it is, if at all, practiced through a historical and not a contemporary, let alone visionary lens. Not only the Giacometti art dynasty is bygone, also the Segantini family does not consist of artists anymore. All of the descendants preserve their artistic heritage. However, the historical lens is predominant. This is especially difficult to maintain on a sophisticated level since there are no tangible artifacts available for display. Buying is in almost no case an option since prices for the mentioned artists skyrocketed. Consequently, a practical solution is needed. The conceptual basis of the cognitive art movement is the Black Square by Russian artist Kazimir Malevich from 1915. He was one of the most famous representatives of the suprematism movement. Quadronero art, Italian for black square art, hints to the origin of everything, the 0 point of painting. It served Felix Stoffel as inspiration to establish his cognitive art movement. It will be explained in detail a little later. Cognitive art is a means to explore communication possibilities with machines. The latter do not have human-like sensory organs and can therefore not perceive anything. Consequently, humans do need to use other ways to communicate with machines, something that will increasingly be vital in our digitalized world. The visionary idea offers great potential for peripheral regions. Offering such a unique platform for thought exchange is a catalyst for brain-gain movements to attract skilled and engaged people. Additionally, it fosters the notion of niche strategies for rural areas to distinguish themselves from other hard-to-reach places on this planet. To sum up, the connection of cultural heritage with this innovative vision bridges the past to the future through cognitive art. Who is the founder of cognitive art? Felix Stoffel is a cosmopolitan with Native American, Barcelonian, English, Dutch, and Swiss roots. By his maternal side, he has been culturally shaped by his strict Barcelonian grandmother Emita and her husband William, a talented artist who was a professor for architecture at ETH Zurich. Felix Stoffel's paternal side shaped him economically. His grandmother, Georgette, was of Native American descent and a business owner in California as well as Alaska. Her former husband, Max, used to be a patron of the family's textile business called Stoffel AG. With this rich heritage himself, it must have been not easy to create a way to his own individualization. Over the years, Felix Stoffel combined his cultural as well as textile heritage with his love for creating algorithms, which ultimately led him to develop the Cognitive Art Manifesto. As described before, here follow a few photos of Felix Stoffel's influential grandparents. Why is it called cognitive art? Felix Stoffel established a kind of image of the world, a way for humans to see vibrations, oscillations, or the movements of nature. With his mathematical software, he encodes digital information products and makes them palpable for human senses, especially our vision. His art is lovely to look at, but to truly get it, one needs to use cognition and the ability to associate. Only then the observers are able to immerse themselves into the concept. Aside from the art historical significance of this visionary movement, the overarching aim of the Center for Cognitive Art is to foster emerging artists who incorporate set philosophy in their own artistic expressions to not only redefine the valley's cultural heritage, but also to contribute to the regional development efforts. It is no surprise that Felix Stoffel named his first cognitive series How Machines See Things Like Us, an allegory on how he envisions the sensory impressions machines have of us humans. How does something see with no sensory organs such as eyes? How does something hear with no sensory organs such as ears? How does something feel with no sensory organs such as skin? These are almost futuristic questions and at the same time utterly timely. The here presented pictures are a display of the various stages a cognitive artwork passes before finalization. The attentive observer sees how intrinsically conceptual the work is. Nothing is left to chance. Everything is constructed after a notoriously meticulous plan. This plan envisions to distill information to achieve the pure bit-based essence of any data product. The revolution in this approach is its physical basis, it from bit, a groundbreaking new way on looking at information as ethereal material that can and should be evaluated, accessed, and categorized according to their intrinsic energy consumption. In future, all our information products, such as texts, paintings, and digital artifacts, will be scrutinized for the electrical energy they consume, while we humans put them online into cyberspace. In a world where energy is scarce, knowledge about whether an information product uses too much energy is worth more than gold. Here you see the original next to the cognitive interpretation. The latter is much more condensed. It is definitely an information refined essence of the original. Consequently, art is Felix Stoffel's way to bring his newly established fractal perspective to the people. The concept is complex, and art is a low-threshold means to reach them, especially if combined with heritage a wide range of individuals are familiar with. And last but not least, the comparison of the last part of the triptych, La Morte, or Gone. Giovanni Segantini loved Soglio, a village he once called the gateway to paradise. 2024 is the 125th anniversary of his death back in 1899. From a socio-spatial point of view, this village is not only peripheral but also packed with history and heritage. Giovanni Secantini painted quite a few of his works in Soglio and slept more than one night in the historical Palazzo Salis. Using the tangible heritage to fill it with new, intangible contexts, such as the one provided by the Center for Cognitive Art, is a suitable way to honor its history without forgetting to prepare for the future. The Center for Cognitive Art by Swiss artist Felix Stoffel is based at the well-known Palazzo Salis in Soglio, a Swiss historic hotel admired for its remarkable architecture, its focus on local product usage, as well as the Baroque garden. That innovative hotspot for art lovers, art makers, and art dealers alike in Bregaglia Valley intends at recreating a renaissance of fine art, contextualizing its name by emphasizing cognitive concepts which aim at analyzing nature's rhythms and vibrations. The first season of the newly established Center for Cognitive Art was a full success. The tenants of the Hotel Palazzo Salis saw a significant increase in culturally interested guests. The exhibited art was a magnet for art lovers and therefore also amplified profit. Felix Stoffel understood that within such a culturally diverse and internationally significant environment, one cannot ignore heritage. On the contrary, one needs to honor it. But how could this be done without being overly concentrated on the past? By using a milestone work by a famous local artist and transferring it into our age of information, he managed to bridge those seemingly unbridgeable aspects. Here you see a few impressions during the exhibition opening on Easter Monday. Next to Felix Stoffel, there is Ragnhild Segantini, a relative of famous Giovanni Segantini. Additionally, her daughter, Dr. Diana Segantini, in the red shirt, held the honorary speech in the beginning of the vernissage. The presented concept of cognitive art is visionary in itself and therefore needs strategic marketing to bring it to the people. The discipline event design is therefore an ideal means to create meaningful experiences for locals and guests alike around these new artworks. The latter is vital for this peripheral area as the locals are highly dependent on tourism and especially the dead season is a threat yet to be overcome. The here presented project Center for Cognitive Art showcases an inventive concept adaptable for similar peripheral regions and is therefore highly relevant for community builders, regional developers, and tourism experts alike. Thank you very much for listening. If you are interested in exploring more about cognitive art and Felix Stoffel, please feel free to contact me.